Yeah, obviously James is a dear friend of mine that goes beyond the game of football. A relationship that's been developed since we were in college, and you know, once the game starts. You're not going to be worried about a friendship or anything like that. We both have jobs to do, but again, our families are pretty close, and we will forever be close friends regardless of what happens here in this game. Yeah. How are you?
Two things. What do you learn from defending these guys from watching the Michigan game in particular? And how do you defend Jeremiah?
You know, there's not just one thing you can do to defend Jeremiah Smith. He's one of the best receivers I've ever seen in the college football game at a young age. He's a dynamic football player. He's physically a big presence, but he can run and he can catch. And so you're going to have to do some different things to try to keep him off balance, but also keep the rhythm of the quarterback off balance. But the other part of that is we got good players too. We got to do what we do, and we're going to trust our guys to, get the job done no matter what we call defensively. I still believe strongly you have to stop the run. We got to do some things defensively to make sure we can stop the run, and we got to be really good in the red zone. That's going to be something we have to be, is really good in the red zone. And then we just got to, do some things to make the quarterback try to think and not keep him in rhythm. So it'll be a difficult challenge, but we're looking forward to it.
Were those things that you mentioned things that you saw from Michigan in particular, or just overall things? I didn't know if there was something in the Michigan game that they did that stood out.
Yeah, I think that, there's some things that happened in the Michigan game that, Michigan did really well, and Ohio State maybe didn't do so well. But what you can't do is look at another team's defense and say, this is what we're going to do. You have to do what your team currently does really well. And that's the nature of the game. Any coach that tells you they just followed somebody else's plan, it's probably not going to be that successful. We got to make sure that we can take some ideas from what other teams have done to have success, but really implement them based off how they fit within our system.
When you found out who his dad was that like an immediate magnet for
Yeah, I grew up a wrestling fan, and he came in the year after I got to Ohio State, and when I found out the son of the animal was coming in, it was I was a fan. I was a wrestling fan, and then we did go to a lot of WrestleManias together. I can't remember how many, but now my kids are fans. So if we can get to a wrestling event and I can take my kids there, we try to.
you? When was the last time you maybe go to one?
We went to one in Chicago. I can't remember when it was. A couple months ago. It might have been before the season, but we went to a Friday night SmackDown event in Chicago.
Sorry, what do you like about wrestling? What got you into it?
I grew up watching. I like that. I don't know the characters. I think at different phases you enjoy different things. When I was young, everything was real. Ended up thinking, idolizing the Hulk Hogan's and Ultimate Warriors and all those guys. And then as I got to go to some WrestleManias with James, you got to know some of the people. And now it's about seeing your kids happy. And if my kids want to go see wrestling, as a father, I would try to do that.
What was the Notre Dame presence like where you grew up? But obviously, there's a lot of Catholic schools there. And have you noticed any increase in Ohio?
I mean, Notre Dame has always been a national brand. I can't tell you how many, I don't know how many Notre Dame fans I knew growing up in Dayton, Ohio. There's probably a lot at some of the private Catholic schools. And I don't know if it's grown. I'm not back in Ohio. I live in South Bend, Indiana. So the Notre Dame fans, Notre Dame network is national. It's worldwide. But I don't know if it's grown in Ohio or not. I can't hear it.
If you stay humble, how do you keep the guys humble?
Oh yeah. And then the part 2 was what? What's on my playlist? Okay. As far as how do you keep yourself humble, I think the reality is when you realize you don't get to this point by yourself, it's easy to be humble. When you realize that it takes everybody in this program to get their job done for us to be in a situation, it's easy to stay humble. And that's the reality of this football program. We understand this is not about one person. It isn't about one player. It's about all of us getting our job done. What's on my playlist? It depends on what day. It depends on what type of mood I am. I'm not a huge music person. I'm a podcast guy. Things that help me really get my mind to a place it needs to be for that day. But it's a little bit of everything. I'm a melting pot, right? That's the reality of what I need that day.